There's a moment in your awakening where intuition stops feeling like a coincidence and starts feeling like a timeline signature. Not a guess or a prediction, but a recognition of something your consciousness has already touched. And that's what this segment's about. How intuition amplifies when your field locks into the timeline that actually belongs to you. Welcome to PSIONICS, Part 3. Intuition has never been a message from nowhere. It's a frequency match, a tuning event. When you're feeling that sudden clarity, when you just know, that's not your brain generating a thought. It's your consciousness remembering a timeline you've already stepped into. This is why intuition feels instantaneous. It doesn't build. It arrives fully formed, like déjà vu, but forward, because it is forward. It's you touching a version of yourself that you already chose. Timelines don't unfold in front of you like a straight road. They radiate around you like a field of possibilities, each one vibrating at a slightly different frequency. And when your internal state becomes coherent, when your emotions, breath, and expectations align into one stable rhythm, you collapse the noise. You stop broadcasting scattered signals. You stop splitting your energy into 100 contradictory futures. Instead, you create a harmonic resonance that pulls you toward the timeline that feels like truth. And that timeline responds. It sharpens, brightens, and stabilizes. It becomes easier to walk into because the version of you who already lives there is calling you forward. You feel a sudden urge of peace. You know this moment, everybody does. A flicker of recognition, a strangely familiar sense of, oh, this is the one. That feeling isn't random. That is timeline coherence. It's what happens when your present self and your future self finally resonate at the same frequency. When this happens, decisions become obvious. Resistance dissolves. Intuitive hits increase. The next step lines up by itself, and manifestation accelerates dramatically. You're matching the version of you for who it's already real. Because you're not making the timeline happen. You're just matching it. Once you stabilize in the coherent timeline, something else happens. Your intuition stops whispering and starts speaking clearly. Because at that point, intuition isn't guidance. It's memory. It's the echo of the future version of you communicating back through the field. Not metaphorically, literally. Your intuition gets louder because the connection is stronger. You're not reaching into the unknown. You're retrieving information from the timeline where the outcome is stable. This is why you suddenly just know who to trust, which choice is right, why something feels off, when to move, and when to wait. You're not guessing. You're syncing. Timeline coherence isn't a complicated practice. It's a simple ritual of internal ordering. Here's the basic pattern. 1. Breathe slowly until your chest softens. Coherence begins in the heart field. Drop the emotional charge, not by suppressing, but by observing without reacting. Choose the feeling of the version of you who already knows, not the outcome, but the version of you. Hold that state for a few seconds. The timeline will answer. This is where intuition flows in, not as a question, but as a certainty. Timeline coherence isn't magic. It's not luck. It's not being gifted. It's consciousness remembering its architecture. And once you feel it, once you recognize the sensation of aligning with the version of you who already walked ahead, You will never mistake intuition for guessing again. This is PSIONICS, the next evolution of remembering.